Alright, another video on financial planning. So here we are, halfway through the year, and many of us made, the New Year's vows to do something to improve our finances in the year, and now we're here at the halfway mark, and it's time for you to do a checkup. Maybe you do it quarterly, maybe you do it on a half-year basis. Anyways, it's good to follow up on your financial goals and your plan to see that you're on track. So if you're watching this video, you already know sort of what you want to do in life, what dreams and aspirations you have, and then you have set up a financial plan to help you realize those vision, those goals. And when you set a financial plan, this is one of the most important things to know why am I saving, so you don't end up 8 years old dying with 2 billion in your bank accounts, never having to use it, or even worse, having nothing at old age. You sort of want to space out the consumption. And today I will do a very hands-on video. I will use some examples from my own financial plans, but I will also give general input that I've seen many people struggle with from the 3 years that I worked in private banking. Just, some very wide net that sort of fits all. But remember, I'm only talking to a camera, I can't see you, so I can only give sort of general pointers as to what normal people out there are talking about when they talk about their financials. So see this as entertaining and educational. Alright, so for this year I had 3 financial goals. One was to keep investing in an index fund. I will go over this in details, by the way. This is just the intro. One was consumption related, regarding a purchase. And the other one was regarding sort of the fun money, the money that I like to invest and not move around so much, but I like to stock pick, as you see on this channel. I talk about specific investments from time to time. Alright. So 500 euro every month into an index fund. Now, saving once a month and investing is a great habit to have. However, this is not something that you do often enough that you can make it a consistent habit. And that's why I recommend that you make an automatic transfer from the account where you get your paycheck to your investment account, and you have that one automatically purchase the fund that you want to buy. And in my case, I've invested in an index fund called OMX S30, which is the largest 30 companies listed in the Stockholm Stock Exchange. And just to do a comparison, because some people out there, Michael Burry, okay, so now you know some people, Michael Burry, I'm not gonna just throw things out there, talks about sort of an index fund bubble. But if you really know what you invest in, then you can feel comfortable even if the asset that you've invested in goes down in value, and you can continue to buy and buy more of that asset at a cheaper price, just as long as you know what you're doing. And regarding the OMX S30, we can look at the price to earnings ratio, the estimated price to earnings ratio. It's about 16. So it's sort of more normal and conservative in the valuation metric. And if we look at the S&P 500, I found several different estimates ranging all the way from 40 to this one at 22.65. So we can see that the American index is valued a bit higher, and this will differ from country to country. Maybe you're watching this in Germany and the cheapest index fund with the lowest fees is the DAX. Well, then you invest in the DAX, make sure what's the evaluation on it, is it reasonable. If you don't like your sort of local index, then you can look at some other country and invest in an index fund there. Just diversify a bit and have this as a habit. This is one of the long-term habits that I've created for myself to ensure continued financial success for myself throughout my life, building that wealth. But key point here is automate it so you don't have to think about it, know what you're buying, and just continue on with a good habit. This is sort of an example of a financial goal that you can have for yourself, you know, to put up this type of saving plan and customize it for your needs and your goals. And this is just the investment plan that I have in place for myself. Alright, to continue on, consumption. Now, this one is a bit unique, granted, because a lot of people have the opposite problem, that they consume too much and they need to reduce spending on, for example, subscriptions, or they don't have an emergency fund. This is crazy. Almost 60% of millennials don't have enough money to cover a sudden $1,000 expense. So build an emergency fund is also one of these consumption related financial planning goals that you should have, so that when something happens, maybe your teeth breaks down or your car breaks down, that you have money to cover this. You do not need to take out a payday loan or a, you know, one of these quick credits that will cost you. But also a very common one I see in the consumption category that people need to plan for and focus on making better is subscription spending, because you have, you know, maybe you have Netflix, you have Disney Plus, you have here in Sweden Viaplay, you have Spotify, maybe you play a bit of World of Warcraft, you know, and you subscribe to some cable subscription to watch the NFL or ice hockey or something like that. This type of thing quickly stacks up, and often with older people I see that they have some subscription that they continue paying for, something old that they don't use, but the subscription continues to tick. So this can be a great sort of goal for you to set for yourself, to look over your subscriptions and trim down a few that you don't need, and sort of smoothen out, make your consumption more lean. Because remember, when I talk about consumption, I like to measure it in terms of marginal utility. That's a great term, you can Google it, learn more about it. I'm not going to go into it on this video, but try to maximize marginal utility with your consumption. And in my case, I wanted to purchase a luxurious watch, and at the start of the year I looked at a Omega Seamaster, since I thought it looked really great, and it was just a beautiful watch. And I did a lot of research, and here a while back I purchased a luxury watch, but it became this one. Let's get a great look on it on the camera. It's a Rolex Datejust 41 with a blue dial and a fluted bezel with the Jubilee bracelet instead of the Oyster one. So I decided to go for that luxurious watch, and this is, you know, important regarding consumption. Maybe it's not a luxury watch for you. Maybe you want to have a boat or a jet ski or something like that. Something fun, something that you enjoy. You know, make sure you plan for it. Make sure you have enough money to buy it a couple of times over, and make sure it fits into sort of your life consumption schedule. And this is especially important if you have accumulated a lot of wealth and you're afraid to spend it. You continue to buy frozen food or something like that. You still live like you're a student even when you're approaching 40 and you have a lot of millions. Then it's important to try to think about marginal utility and actually enjoy yourself a bit. And this can be a challenge for a few people. I've seen it. Then you really have to talk about goals again, what you want to do with your life, what you enjoy. Try to find some more hobbies. This is even more important when people approach retirement and they've worked all their life. They have amassed this large sum of wealth, and they don't really have many hobbies to, you know, spend time on once they retire. So this is something that that you can work on as well with regards to financial planning. Alright, so the last goal that I had from the new year was to have my stock picks outperform the index fund that I invested in. And when I look here at the halfway mark, I can see that I've come in at 14.17% versus a 21.54% gain from my index investment. So we can see that for the first half year it's been more profitable just to invest in index and do nothing rather than trying to stock pick. However, no, I've been invested since 2011, so that's more than 10 years in the market now. And what I see now, I've seen many times before, and it's what I call a reversion to the mean. Because 2020 was a great year for me with stock picks such as Magnite going through the roof, and Tilray it's called now, but when I bought it was Afria up over 100%, and some of those growth stocks really taking off. And then it's only natural to see more of a reversion towards the mean, and by that I mean normal market returns. And that's what I've seen so far from my portfolio in the start of 2021. More of a reversion to the mean, more of normal returns. So it's trailing the market a bit, dragging down the mean. And what's really easy to do here when you're a beginner is that you see, my stock picks right now has not done as well as the broader market. Maybe I should reshuffle, maybe I should buy some others, even though the fundamentals are still intact. And then you reshuffle to the top performers and then the reversion to the mean happens again, and those who have been trailing for a bit have those great trading days, and the stock price goes up a lot, and you keep going to those who has had terrific performance away from the underperformers, and you just miss out on the big gains. Because, alright, I'm gonna share another pattern that I've seen in the stock market over the years. Alright, are you ready? So the majority of gains in stock price over a year happens on a few trading days. Alright, let me say that one more time. The majority of the gains you're gonna have on your investment happens on a few days each year. And what that means is that you don't want to miss out on these great events where stock price goes up a lot on a single day. And if you shuffle around and try to time the market, try to predict, you might miss these great days, and then that's going to hurt your portfolio a lot in the long run. That's why it's so dangerous to shuffle around too much and not, make a plan and stick to it. So what is my plan with regards to the investment strategy that I do for stock picking right now? Because in 2020, for those of you who have followed this channel for a long time, you saw me talking a lot about growth stocks. You saw me talking about Palantir, you saw me talking about Afria, now Tilray, and you saw me talking about Magnite. 3 great stocks that performed very well in 2020. Too well. You saw me talking a bit about how I thought the market was a bit overvalued. That's when I shifted to, I didn't sell anything, but I put the paychecks into value companies. And you saw me make videos about Immocell. And you also saw me make a video about a shipping company here, those of you who watched it, with 10% dividend yield. So more value focused. And right now I can see that growth is coming back a bit more. So we've seen some great gains in value, and now I think it's time for an increase in the value of the growth stocks once again. Because we've seen a drop in the big IT stocks, and they've come down again, reverted to the mean once again. And in this part of the cycle I will continue to load up on more growth stocks over value stocks. So that's the sort of investing balancing plan that I'm looking at right now. And remember, this works for me because I'm young, you know, I'm about to turn 27, so I can invest everything in stocks. And when you're getting a bit older, talk to a financial advisor about this, because it's time to buy a bit more safe investments then, because if there comes a large market correction, then stocks won't have the time to recover, and you could have less in retirement then. So that's just, you know, the macro trends of investing, the rebalancing between sort of safe interest, the growth stocks, the value stocks, and not having too itchy fingers. Super important here. Remember, reversion to the mean. And when I do stock picks, this comes back to a strategy that even Arcad used in ancient Babylon, you know, the wealthiest man in Babylon, tasked by the king to teach his ways of wealth creation to the people. He talks about safeguarding your investments, you know, making sure that you make good stock picks today, basically. And how can I do this? How do I do this today? How do I stay on top of my investments? Well, first of all, I only make a few stock picks that I stick to. And second of all, for example with Magnite, I will make this real concrete and hands-on. It's they're in the publishing business a bit. They're an ad exchange. They have the Rubicon project. I'm not going to go into the technicals too much, but what do I do to stay on top of that investment? Well, I bought a really small position in one of the big publishing companies to, you know, get the invite to the yearly shareholder meeting and listen in on the trends regarding the publishing industry. And there I see that impressions continue to grow, etc. And if I see that more ads are being served to, you know, customers, consumers in the digital media, then I know that that will be great for the ad exchanges out there. So I stay on top. I look at the trend, and then I can, you know, use my business knowledge to connect that. If there's being more impressions, that's when you see an ad online, served out there, then this is good for the ad exchanges. One thing connects to another. And you can find these sort of connections in every industry out there, whether it's sort of shipping data, boats coming through the Suez, and railroad traffic relating to, you know, something else. You just need to find these connections out there that relate to your specific stock picks and then stay on top of them. We can see, let me just give you a bonus example here. If you've seen the sort of China Hustle on Netflix, just to reference popular culture, we can see that one of the short sellers there found a scam company by looking at, you know, the Google satellites and checking the road going to, you know, connecting a factory to the sort of road network. And they would see that this small road was not enough to sustain the sort of export traffic that this company claimed that they had. And then they could, you know, verify or sort of find out that the numbers, the sales numbers that the company came out with was bogus, and they had messed with the numbers. So little things like this to safeguard and stay on top of your investment. It's very important, so you don't try to stay away from the really bad apples. And sure, we can all fall for a Rupert Murdoch, you know, where he fools everyone and we believe he's a genius and he has a great company. But if you're a bit cautious, at least you can sort of avoid some of the more natural traps that we see out there in the stock market. Alright, anyways, I've been going on for way too long. This has been a video showing how I follow up on a investment plan, and, you know, just make sure to revisit yours as well. whether you do it on a quarterly basis, on a half-year basis, or even on a yearly basis, make sure you have this plan and you stick to it. And you put up these different metrics regarding saving, regarding investment, and regarding consumption. If you have those three sort of basic pillars in there and you find what is really important to you, then you're a great step ahead to secure your future financial success. Anyways, this has been all for this video, and I hope you make a lot of money, friends. Take care. Bye bye.